Hello, everyone, and as always, welcome back to Strategy Gaming Dojo, where we find, learn, and play one more turn of the great strategy games. Today, back into WarPlan Pacific, our play by email challenge against the very tough Bonsai. And this game has turned out exactly like I wanted it to. Well, in some ways. For the channel's sake, it's turning out well because this is a very good and skilled Japanese player, and I wanted you all to see that. It's no fun to watch me just walk over somebody as the allies. As for personally, we're getting whooped a little bit here, and so it's not quite as much fun for me from just a game point standpoint. But it's good, to watch on the channel because it shows you the possibilities of how you can play as the Japanese, which you would think were the underdog, but really, really tough to beat against a very good Japanese player. And that's what we've got here. Now, it's been a couple of days since I looked at this game. I've just been busy with other things, and so we're going to kind of be looking at this first blush with each other. Usually I'll go look around the map and whatnot. I haven't done that, and so we're just going to jump into it and check it out. It is now February 28th, 1943. So we're a good, 14 months into the war, I guess, at the end of February. USA warship advancements up to 1943. Now, if you're new to the game or you just haven't played it, or maybe if you have and you're just confused about it, warships are the capital ships, and when I say capital ships, I mean battleships, cruisers, light cruisers that you have at the start of the game. So they're kind of more interwar type ships. Large warships are, again, generally speaking, ones that you get during the course of the game. So these were, bigger ships that were built during World War II. Those are considered large warships. These are warships, so these are older ships, which we have a lot of. We have more of those than we do the newer ones. Have advanced to a 1943 level, so that's helpful. That's good. U.S. landing ship times 10 added to the availability pool. That's always great. We need as many. I try to build these every turn that I can because you always need more of them. No matter how many you have, you always need more. The Ninth Corps surrendered. I don't remember if they were in Australia or India. We'll have to go check that out. We've got a bunch of stuff in India that is out of supply, and that is really, really going to hurt. We're going to try to keep them supplied through beachhead supply until we can go try to help them. But we'll see. We'll see. This would be a big loss to lose this whole invasion group that went into India. UK's at lacking merchant marines. They have for some time. Let's go look at our notifications, and that'll also help take us around the map to see what's going on. Unit is out of supply. Okay, well, here's the aforementioned India. We're out here with no lifeline. We don't have any place where we can get supply. The only place we could potentially get it is from our submarines. We've got one squadron there, and we've got a squadron here. He's now we moved this submarine squadron over to threaten this destroyer group or small patrol group that he had over here because I was thinking about moving into Tavoy. That's now moved on. He's moved on, and he's got a fleet, it appears, over here in Bangkok. Meanwhile, we're out of supply at these two places as well. We're in a world of herd over here on this side of the map. But this is out of supply. We'll come back and move all of this stuff later. A lot of this is going to be out of supply in India, also in Chumpton. Yeah, we've got no supply source. Now, you would think port supply would get in there, but it's not because he's got this blocked off. So, not getting any there. We've got the Glasgow out here with, this was low on supply. As a matter of fact, just in case, just so I don't forget that, I'm going to put that into Los Angeles. It needs to get to a port, back into India with units. Now, this is a good American unit, a full 30 of 30 core. Here you've got a British smaller core of 20. You've got a U.S. infantry core small here. There is a lot of good units over here, and we've got to try to save them the best we can. As you can see, the U.S. actually can do another specialty, by the way, and we will do that. None of these units, we have a Marine unit, this is a small core. This is a lot of infantry points that we would lose if we can't get them resupplied. Then you see the partisans that we always see. All right, on we go. Let's go to deployment and just see what we've got. We don't have a whole lot. The Brits get 40 new landing ships. Well, we get 30 of them April 17th, and then on the next turn we get 10 more after that. As you can see, after that, nothing for the Brits until 1945, over a year from now, when we finally start getting all of their carriers here into the Indian Ocean. And so that's not good. That's we got to try to build more. It's an American war at this point. I mean, the Brits have stuff on the map, but really we're down to just the Americans trying to save us. One Marine amphib. Okay, wow, that's a 30. That's a Marine group that's a 30. We've got 38th Division in. We've got a light carrier, the Princeton in, and we've got another fighter group. So the Americans are pumping out just massive amounts of stuff. We've got to be better about, and we'll come back to that and deploy those. Let's go to the combat log and see what happened last time. First, partisan activities out in China. We're looking good in China, but it's not going to do us much good if we can't take back New Zealand, Australia, and India. And then once we do that, we've still got a lot more work to do. All right, partisan activities out here. Ground strike. Okay, so this is the group that surrendered. We had a core here, but he's got so much strength and he's bombing us so hard here that we end up losing this entire unit, and now he's on three sides of Canberra. I always talk about this being on three sides of something. That is the key to this game, is you've got to get around it on three sides, ideally four. Well, hell, I guess ideally six, but uh, two sides into a very strong unit is very seldom going to destroy it. Now it did here, but that's because he bombed the heck out of us. So anyway, ground strike one. So you see 5th Air Division knocked us off one strength point, but more than that, it takes down its effectiveness. Then he bombed us again. You see, okay, well, no strength points lost, but it took down the effectiveness. They hit it again and again and again. Then he gets into the land combat. Now you can see this unit, Ninth Corps, did a nice job. I mean, it doled out 4 in strength damage, but it took 5 itself. It held the first time, then it surrenders. 24 on the surrender. And he really shows you how air power in this game should be worked. You just hit over and over and over. You take that effectiveness to 0, and no matter how good or how big the land unit is, it crumbles. We also got hit and had to retreat. It was this British unit that had to retreat. In the current turn, these are all partisan activities. They're kind of all over the place. A lot in India, Southeastern Asia, modern day Vietnam, and then over to Philippines. Okay, deploy combat log, got it. Reports, we've already looked through that report. Forces, I mean, the U.S. is going backwards, which is a huge problem. Airwise, naval, we add up the Brits and the Americans, they're close to parity. We add up the Americans and the Chinese, and we're way behind. We add up China, UK, US, we're at about half of what the Japanese are. We're just in a lot of trouble here. Sunk ships, we've still only lost the Prince of Wales. That's going to change because we're going to have to just get a lot more aggressive. There's just no way around it. I mean, at this point, we just have to do it. You can see the casualties now. The U.S. has taken 259 on the land, the UK 25, China 243, Japanese 303. So as you can see, the way the casualties are going, we need to get more naval, but we're dishing out some casualties. Unfortunately, that's not good enough. Once we get into 1943, we have got to start pushing the Japanese back. It's time now that the Allies should be able to start getting on the offensive a little bit. Let's go to the war panel. The Brits. Oh, I was looking at victory points. Yeah, Cobalt points, we've only got 13. Victory points, you can see the British are doing pretty horribly. That is going to happen when you lose New Zealand, Australia, and India. The Brits just aren't accumulating any victory points. The U.S., 108. They need 565 for a minor. Let's create a comment there. Okay, and that's that. Let's look at the advancements. UK is about 100 days or so away from going up to a 1944 assault. We need, with the UK, what do we really need right now? We need to take back parts of India. We got to get that production back online, and we got to get the Indian manpower back online. We maybe went a little too soon to India. You hate to wait all the way into February or March of 1943, but against a really good player, that might be the way to do it because you've got to come with such strength that it's irresistible. Um, that there's just no way he can stop you. Now, we've got enough units on the board to do that, but throwing the whole kitchen sink there didn't seem like a good idea at that point when we went. Maybe it was. Maybe that was the way to go. Naval air, anti-sub, large warship. Okay, they're going to go up in carrier operations to a 43 in 25 days. Hey, that'll really help us in 1944. U.S. over here has no new research centers. They're about to go to a 1943 assault in about a month and a half. As we look down here, what else? 5 days, large warships. So our new warships will go to a 42. Okay. Carrier operations in 17 days will go to a 1944. That's huge. That's really when you can get on the full offensive. And we're about to get a lot of American carriers in. The Lexington 2 comes in here soon. We're going to get quite a bit. Amphib operations, this always helps to pop up here. You're less likely to take damages when you land. Long range subs, long ways to go there. Soviet Union, China, this is the big one in China, or for China anyway. They'll go to a 1941 assault in 6 days. I think we've reached stalemate status in China, which is huge against a really good player. The problem is we've faltered in other places. This would be massive that we're, going to be going to a 1941 for the Chinese. They are pretty much locked in position. And I don't see how he could really break down what we've got in China now. So we've got to just pick it up in other places. But the Chinese are looking pretty good. If you look back at the war panel and we go to China, they've got 97 points already in 1943. They need 375 for a minor victory. I think we'll get there. I mean, they're holding. If we look at I mean, we could sit here and try to add it all up, but if we look at victory locations, Chungking and Lanchao, as long as they hold those two, I think we will have to get a third one at some point later on, but hopefully the Japanese will be scrambling and have to pull back, and then most of the back half of 1944 and 1945, we could maybe jump into these two. We could maybe get back out to Changsha, something like that. So the Chinese, it's looking like they could possibly, get a minor victory out of this, which is actually a pretty big deal. It's hard to do to get it set up like this, but I think we did a really nice job in China to go full stalemate against a very good player. The Brits. Okay, let's go to the production, and the Brits have 48 in production. That's cranking out. They don't have any merchant marines is the problem. I mean, if we look over, it's really the U.S. has 19 merchant marine ships left. That's all we've got. We're sending them all to the U.K. for oil. Luckily, we've got the U.K. up to a 75 oil. That's huge. We've got to keep dumping as much U.S. oil into the U.K. as we can. The U.S. has 259 on the stockpile. When we get over on the build, and hell, let's just do it because we're not going to change the convoys. As you can see, the Brits have 48 in the stockpile. We could do more landing ships, I guess. The U.S. has 259. We'll build more infantry probably. The Soviets could build something. It takes 252. Sure, let's do an assault infantry army. Why not? It's never going to come into play, but it's kind of fun. The Chinese have 4 in the stockpile, nothing to do there. Most everything that they're doing with production is going into upkeep. And so we're really building that. And then also when they jump up to a 1941, that'll help upgrade them as well when you put things into reinforcement and upgrade. Imagine that. I've got that set on 136. We could bump that down to 40, but whatever. It doesn't really matter. It'll only go up to as much as they have. Stockpile, okay, that all looks fine. And the commies, they don't reinforce or upgrade. The communists just don't. I don't know why. I haven't gotten to that part of the rule book, but they don't. As you can see, it's snowing out here in China in February. We've got a nice line here into Lanchao. We could even start trying to maybe attack out of this, but these guys don't reinforce, so you don't really want to do that. Anyway, okay, I talked myself out of it. Over here, we could, try to attack something, I guess, but what's the point? I mean, we're not going anywhere. The only thing we would do is weaken our own forces for a counterattack, so we're just going to leave everything the same in China. The Flying Tigers are up to a 16 of 20. They're looking good. This is as good as I've seen the Flying Tigers look in any game that I've played with. Uh, Oh my gosh, Bonsai. I almost said Lodric. I've been playing so much War in the Pacific that I almost said Lodric, and I caught myself. I had like a brain freeze there. Okay, let's go over here to India really quickly and figure out what we want to do here. I think we want. Can this sub get up into? Yeah, he can't get. Hmm. Where can he go? He can go up there. He could go over here. This is the one I'm worried least about in the sense that he's just not very strong. I want to get this resupplied for sure, but we've got one more turn of no supply. So I think what I'll do, but see, he could get attacked by both sides there. Let's get him out of there. His effectiveness is down to 10%. My goodness. Can he get all the way to there? No, we're going to find out. I'm going to move this here. He can't go there, right? Okay, let's go there. Okay, that works. Let's go there, and then we'll bring that American unit there, and then we're going to bring the sub up, and we're going to try to resupply both of those with beachhead supply. All right, at least that gives them a little supply, and then this unit will come down next time. We'll try to get this the hell out of here. He moved his main task force, I believe, that was in India. He moved it over here to Bangkok. So we may be okay there. And then we've got the other sub that I'll put over here. I don't know. I'm going to hide it. The Grayling. I'm going to hide it right there. And then I'm going to try to get it up here and resupply these again next turn. I could also do this one. Let's move this guy back over here. So these two guys, I mean, I would love it if I could get them resupplied. We'll see if we're able to do that. This is going to have to go back through the whirligig, assuming it's still alive by then. Chumpton, we're just not getting any supply into there. Kota Baru, same thing. These units are probably done for. I don't know how to save them at this point unless we take some light cruisers or something and just decide to sacrifice them. I mean, maybe that's the direction we go. All of our Chinese units look good. I mean, we're just not going to move them. There's no reason to. They're in great formation. They're in a V, and in this game, you like the V's, and you put the strongest unit you got out the tip of the V because it's the only way you can get around you 3 or 4 ways all the way down the V here, he can only get two. He can only have two. And when he's doing that across a river, especially, is almost impossible unless he brings in major air assets, which we've seen him do in India and Australia. But he's busy there, and so he's not doing it in China, at least right now. He's got one patrol group here watching Madras, probably smart. He's probably got something in here and here. We just haven't detected it. He always loves to set up little patrols off of his ports like that, the ones that we may attack. He's also got a lot of ships in Singapore too, potentially. A fleet in Bangkok, one in maybe in Singapore. Okay, let's go down. Let's see what we've got with the Brits. We do not have enough transports to take them anywhere. We've lost some transports along the way, but we've also got these units that are on the move, a 20 of 20 and an 11 of 20. Now this one I think I'm going to put into Perth, and I'll show you why here in a minute. So I'm going to put the partisan here, okay? And I'm going to take the 11 of 20, and I think I'm just going to unload it here in Perth. Now, Perth doesn't get you anywhere. You're not getting any points for that. It's not a major port, but this needs to rebuild. It's an 11 of 20. We'll let it rest for a little bit. That also did not take any landing ships because we controlled the port. And then I'm going to take this unit. We're going to have it on stealth mode, and we're going to put it right down here in the rain. Let's say, actually, we don't need to get it that close. We just need to be within 24 hexes. I'm going to put him right there. Okay, so we've got those Brits there. Now, we can't put any more Brits on a transport until next turn. As you can see, we still have 9, but since we dropped this guy off, next time we'll have 19. We can only take one division then, so this is 20 of 20. We got to back the headquarters up, and we got to split this because we couldn't even take a 20 if we wanted to. So we'll split that out. It's a 10 of 10, 10 of 10. He is a 43 assault. He's a 40. Okay, so there's no difference. All right, so we've looked at China, we've looked at India. There's nothing that can be done here. I mean, we could try to move down the coast or something, but why? I mean, there's nowhere to go. Those guys are essentially doomed. We are in Darwin. In Australia, there's absolutely nothing we can do here. We just have to sit and hope we get one more turn to try to change something. Now, I've been talking about going into Newcastle, but I think the smarter move is to go into Melbourne. And if we go into Melbourne, we could potentially take out these subs. We could try to take out this air, all of these air units. I think we're going to try to sneak in here, but how to go about it? Well, first of all, U.S. fighter group needs to go back to the West Coast. It's got nowhere to land, nowhere to go. So, I mean, it doesn't do any good. You could say, well, you could just leave it sitting here. Yeah, I could, but this is a follow-on force. That's a force that you want to be bringing after you've landed. So let's go to the West Coast with that. All right, I'm just looking on the map, making sure there's nothing I'm missing. I don't think so. All right. So we're not moving in Australia. We've resupplied in India. We've got these light carriers out here, including the British light carrier. We've got all of these battleships that are out here. We also have the specialty from the U.S. that we can put on something, and we've got all of these carriers back here. Now, you can only put 6 carriers together. Don't forget that. And how do we want to go about this? I think what I'm going to do, because we're going to send a lot of stuff through this time. We've got 70 transports. Let's look at the U.S. How many landing ships do they have? 57. Okay. Do we get any more next time for the U.S.? When do I get some? Not until March 20th. Gosh darn it. We get, another 20 then. So 57. Hmm. All right. Well, the first thing we're going to do is send 30 of it through with this one. The second, gosh darn it, I wish we had 60. That would be very helpful. Okay, their effectiveness is still good. He's going through to quote unquote Australia. Through the whirligig you go, my friend. All right, he's off. Now we need to take a 20. So let's do this one. We could make it elite, or we could do the anti-air on the carriers. You know I like to do that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make this unit elite. Or, you know what? I'm going to give him heavy artillery. That's one we haven't done before. It does -1 to enemy entrenchment. I like that. All right. So we're going to put him on a transport, and he's going to go through as well. Take the subs off for now. Off you go, my friend. Okay. We're going to put those 2 through. Now we're going to take the submarines and we're going to put them through. So we've got 4 groups. They're all fixed up there. They're all 3 and 3s. They're going to go through to Australia. Next turn is going to be an absolute blow out. We're going for it next turn. Now, as you can see, we still have 50 in transports. It's just that we don't have landing ships. So they would have to be follow-on forces. Um, we have this bigger unit. That's a 30 of 30. We have a 10 of 10. We have a 10 of 10. All right, so I think I'm going to put this on transports. We'll get off of everything there by clicking that button. All the way down here, we'll take that unit. That'll go through to Australia. And then we'll take this unit. It's going to get on transports. It's going to go through to Australia. Then we'll split this into two. We'll have this guy down in San Diego. We'll have this one in LA. We could also send this unit. Oh, no, he just moved. Okay, so we can't do that. Up here in Astoria, we still have 30. I do want to have a fighter group, though, follow on along behind this in case we can land and actually immediately take Melbourne, but I think we'll wait one. I know I could have left the other one there, but it's exposed if it just sits there, right? I guess I'm going to wait on that, and I'll actually, let's embark this and come on through. And then I think what I'll do is take this group in LA, I'll split that again, then I'll put this guy on the rail if we can. Let's get off that. Uh, yeah, he can't do it this turn because he's already moved normally. So none of these guys can move by rail just yet. He could, but none of the rest can. Oh well, I mean, if the Japanese are going to invade Astoria this time, all hope is lost. The Canadians can't move either. All right, what else are we going to push through? We've got a lot of air units that we could get moving here eventually. This was on super repair. Okay, 17 of 20. Let's get off of that. Let's take 6 carriers. That's the most you can have in one group. And let's put those through to Australia. Okay. Now let's take this one carrier, the Enterprise. All right. And we'll move it right here. So that's the Enterprise. Now we'll take the light carriers we have in Hawaii. Not the British. The Essex. Oh, we do have 2 carriers here. Okay, perfect. Let's actually get off all of this. Let's take the Independence and the Essex, and we'll put it in with him. All right, now we have 3 carriers in that group. They'll go through to Australia. All right. Now let's take every ship that we've got here. I mean, we're really going for it this time. We've got all kinds of these guys are going to go after those subs that are down at Melbourne. We're going to get off of the Exeter. We're going to leave the Brit ships here probably. Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Okay, those are all American ships. They go through to Australia. Now we may break these up as they get through. And then back here, we've still got the Hermes. We'll try to leave all of our UK stuff here, but we're going to take the Indiana, Colorado, California. I wasn't kidding when I said, I mean, we're going for it. They're going to go through to Australia. Oh, there was a Brit ship in there. Shit. Dang it. The Exeter and the Glasgow. Well, the Exeter can come out here. So we've just got a. You never thought you'd see the day that the British Navy is protecting Honolulu, Pearl Harbor, and the Americans are going after Australia. Okay, but that's where we are. That's how this game has unfolded. Nothing left to do here. When we come through the whirligig next time, we've got British forces here. Do they have any landing ships? That was the question. They do not, but they get 30 next time, so they'll have enough. Okay, 20, yep. And if we look at the deployment next time, ooh, it's actually in 2 turns. Well, they'll have to be a follow-on force. We're going to take those destroyers. or the light cruisers, heavy cruisers, and we are going to try to blast these subs out. Then we're going to land with the American forces here on both sides and try to take out any air that we can and also block him from being able to retreat. That should also cut off most of these units from direct supply, even though well, that's not true because he can come out of Sydney here. I don't know if this is a major supply source for him yet. It's a good question, actually. I guess we're going to find out. But we are going to go hell's bells to Melbourne and try to take Melbourne, try to take out some subs, try to take out some air, try to cut him off from supply, try to get around behind him, so on and so forth. I think it's our one shot to hold Australia. We also, in India, things are dire, obviously, but we're going to keep taking subs up here and sacrificing them just to get these guys in supply. Next time, he'll come to here if he can, and we'll just keep resupplying it that way to the best of our ability. Okay, we've landed in Perth, so we've got a British unit there. That may attract his attention over here, actually. Got that British unit there. Worst case scenario, that comes back here, and then we try to move it down a rail line or something. Um, that's all good. We've still got our deployment. Let's go ahead and do that. It's only the Americans, I believe. And we've got first, oh, that's right. We've got first Marine and Fib. Let's deploy that. This is a good unit. Let's put that in Astoria there. Ooh, that's nice. That's a Marine that's 30 out of 30. We've also got 38th Division, excuse me, 38th Division. We'll just put that in Portland. The Princeton, we'll put in here. Okay, so we got another carrier. 5th Fighter Group. Where can we put you? 5th Fighter Group. We'll put that up in Seattle. All right, and next time we get an infantry corps small, I mean, the Americans just start cranking out so much stuff. Now, we built all of this, but it's really, a lot, and you just got to keep building landing ships and transports. And then you see in early April, we get 3 more carriers, one of them of the light variety, but we get 2 full carriers, but we're going after it with our carriers. Let's see, is there anything else to deploy here? Soviet Union, no. China, no. First RAAF, there's just no place to put this on the map. We could move the American unit if we had a port out of here and put the Australian unit down. It's only got 1 strength point though. Really, I'd like to disband it, but I don't think there's any way to do that. Nothing else to do there. The build queue for the Brits, you can see they're getting low on the logistics, but we're going to go over here to go to the support. We'll go to landing ship. We'll do 1. That's all we can do. With the US, we're at 259. We're going to do 1 landing ship, 2 landing ships, 3 landing ships. We've got 184 in the stockpile. I think I'm just going to leave that alone. Although maybe, you know what? I'm going to do 1 supply oiler. That comes in very handy later. And you know what? We'll just do all support this time. Let's do 1 more Merch Marine. We may eventually need that. 54. Okay, I think that's fine. We built with the Soviets, and then the Chinese have nothing. Australia, commies. Okay, I think that's going to do it. We'll see what we get back, but make sure you tune in next time because this is all hell's about to break loose around Melbourne. Because we're just going to have to go for it a little bit. The reason I picked Melbourne, oh, I did see this before the turn, small formation. So he's only got a small formation. In Sydney, he's got a large formation. In Newcastle, he's also got a small formation. We could decide to go here, but I'd rather take the subs out if we can, and we've got enough destroyers coming that I think that's a real possibility. So anyway, I'll talk to you next time. Strategy Gaming Dojo. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I know I am, although I want to come back and win this game. So anyway, I'll talk to you next time. Have a good one. Strategy Gaming Dojo out.